Welcome to Chat, where we come together to connect, honor, advocate for, and teach one another. I'm Sister Tina Petrick, and today we're diving into the fun topic of fun in the sun safely. Whether you are spending time at the pool, playing outside with the kids, or heading out on vacation, we're talking about how to keep your skin healthy and your loved ones safe. I'm joined by two wonderful guests, Dr. Erin Hennessey, from a board certified family nurse practitioner from Blush Aesthetics, and Tiffany Butts from the Josh Project, a local organization dedicated to drowning prevention and water safety. Erin, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your work at Blush Aesthetics?
Sure. So I actually came from a background as an RN in pediatric intensive care at St. Vincent Mercy Medical Center. So we saw a lot of trauma. We saw some drownings, near drownings, a lot of burn patients. And so one of the things that I wanted to do as I went on in my education was really make sure I wanted to focus on skin and burn and really making those pediatric patients that I saw their skin act better and feel better, and for them to normalize and not feel self-conscious as they go out into school and the community. We all know how hard it is to be any little bit different as a child growing up. And
Right.
so I loved my work there. And so as I finished at my master's and my doctorate, I did a postdoctoral fellowship at Stanford in dermatology. And so that was one of the best parts of my education that I really enjoyed. And so now at Blush Aesthetics, we have two different arms of our work. One is focused a little bit more on skin health and prevention, and then the other is focused on correction. In addition to that, we work with victims of domestic violence as well, who may be suffering from scars, and burn victims that may not necessarily have access to certain lasers that can help them. So we enjoy what we do there.
That's a wonderful ministry or work that you do. Thank you. And Tiffany, can you tell me a little bit about the Josh Project?
Yes, thank you. The Josh Project is a nonprofit organization founded in the memory of my cousin John Joshua Butts, who died in a drowning incident in Lake in Michigan back in 2006. From there, his mother, my auntie Wanda Jean Butts, she decided to turn tragedy into triumph. She didn't want to see this happen with any other family, so she decided, I'm gonna teach children how to swim, get in partnership with as many people in the city as we can to teach, so that this doesn't happen to anybody else.
Okay. Sorry about your cousin. Yes. Well, thank you. Erin, we know the sun is stronger in the summer and sunburns can sneak up quickly. What are some of your ways that you protect your skin from the sun, from sunburn?
I think when it's not nearly as sunny out or it's not super hot outside, I think we forget that the sun is still out and that we can still get sunburned. So one thing I tell patients and families, if you're going to be outside doing any activities, even if it doesn't seem like it's too terribly warm or sunny outside, anytime we leave the house, if we're going outside to do things, wearing an SPF either 30 to 50. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be SPF 100, but just reapplying it every 2 hours while you're outside and doing activities really helps to mitigate a lot of the risk that we get, and will definitely help prevent you from burning for sure. That and wide brim hats, I feel like they're coming back. Thank goodness. And I'm seeing more and more young gentlemen, even like while they're fishing and golfing, wearing those hats. I think we need to bring them back and make them very fashionable again.
Okay.
But those wide brim hats are functional and fashionable this season.
Okay. I have a question kind of off script.
Sure.
Does skin tone make a difference how much you need to wear or not wear? As far as SPF goes.
That's actually a big misconception. Folks are like, I naturally have all of this melanin and protection in my skin because it's darker, because I have olive skin tone or I have darker skin tone. But there is just as much damage that can be done to that skin. So it's more about prevention than anything. However, we do know that having more burns, more sunburns in your lifetime will put you more at risk for things like melanoma and skin cancers. So those of us that, whose ancestors came from Ireland and we blend in with the bed sheets and, are quite white, we go out in the sun and burn right away. We have to just be a little bit more diligent about making sure that we're reapplying and that we're not seeing those red changes to the skin that would give us a sunburn and put us more at risk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Tiffany, water safety is such a crucial part of summer. What are some of the biggest risks when it comes to drowning, especially with younger children?
So one of the biggest risks is that there's always this false sense of security, especially with parents. Um, Especially if they sent their children to swim lessons before, they kind of feel like, oh, they got it. So it's not as much supervision, as it should be. As even having a lifeguard on site, there should always be a water watcher. We call them water watchers with the Josh Project. And that's somebody that is saying, I am dedicated to watching the water. That is no reading, that's no on your phone. You are strictly watching the water. So that's like a big misconception that people are just safe because they know how to swim. Another one is drowning can happen in unexpected places like the bathtub. Little kiddie pools doesn't have to be like a huge body of water in order for you to drown. I've even heard things of saying that you can drown in a teaspoon of water. So just having this false sense that I got it or that I don't need to follow the rules as much is usually one of the biggest risks that we see with helping to prevent drowning.
When we saw that statistically, more drownings happen in places where there are many adults around because everyone kind of assumes that someone else is watching their kids.
Yes.
And so you're thinking, oh, there's so many adults around, but drowning is very silent.
Absolutely.
It's not loud. It's not flashy
at all.
It's very sudden and very silent.
And that is a good point. That is a big thing that we push as well, that it's usually not something that you see on TV and the wailing and the flooding. It is usually something silent that happens. So it's very important that we watch our children around the water.
Are there other things that parents can do to help prevent drowning besides, you mentioned watching the children and have a specific watcher?
A water watcher.
The water watcher, I like that too, yes.
We give parents like these little tags to wear, I'm a certified water watcher. Biggest thing is not taking it for granted, respecting, the water at all times. Again, staying focused, not thinking, oh, I could just look away for a second. No, you really can't. If your children are going to be by the water, you need to be there with them as well and giving them as much attention as possible.
I know that some people think water floaties and things like that prevent drowning, but
no, not necessarily.
Yes.
It helps.
Okay.
But anything can happen. Those floaties, they sometimes are defective. If you don't have the correct flotation on, like Josh Project, we are really big on water, life vests, like when you're around lakes and the beaches, and Coast Guard certified life vests. I mean, you can go to different places and you get little cheap ones, but those aren't necessarily, the best for our children.
Yeah, I always see the ones with the little kids with the ones on their arms. I'm like, I don't know if that would be safe or not. Are they?
It provides some safety, but again, knowing how to swim and having that supervision out there at all times is one of the best ways to prevent it.
Okay. And you mentioned water watchers, but like a lot of places that have the lifeguard. And again, there's so many people a lot of the time they're not watching.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. And so it's important.
Me personally, if I'm sending my child somewhere swimming, I'm going to either come and watch or, a responsible adult that has the same mindset that, because you're right, lifeguards, it's 1,000 people that's trying to watch them and you can't see everybody. So why not give them a little assistance?
You're both in the field of education and awareness. What would you say is one common myth or misunderstanding people have about summer safety, either for skin or for water? I think you mentioned the one about you got darker skin, I don't need SPF
Sure.
50 or anything. But is there another misconception that
I think some people think, oh, I put my sunscreen on in the morning and it's with my makeup and I'm good for the day. And then they don't reapply necessarily.
Okay.
But if you work in a space where there's lots of good windows and bright light, we should all wish to work in a space like
That's
that.
right.
You get sun exposure through the
Okay.
windows. And so it's
Mhm.
good, again, if you're going to have any exposure, just to reapply every 2 hours.
Mhm.
Definitely if you're outside, golfing, swimming, having fun, doing all of those things. Now we have phones that we can set alarms on, and I always say just set that alarm for every 2 hours around there, and
Mhm.
just reapply again. Just make
Yes.
sure that you continue through the day.
Mhm.
So it's good to start out the day that way, but we need to keep reapplying. And I
Mhm.
tell people, if you like a mineral sunscreen that has no chemicals, use that. Whatever one you love and the one you're going to wear is the one I recommend.
Okay.
Like, you're
All
gonna
right.
use it and you like
Use it.
it.
Yeah.
That's the one I
Nice.
recommend.
Wonderful. I also remember, I don't now with air conditioners and cars, you don't see people with their arms out, but I always remember seeing really tanned arms on this one
just
side.
the left
Just the left one.
Yeah.
Like,
Now we see that on skin a
It's good
lot,
that
where there's
too.
more damage on the left side.
Side.
Or
Okay.
you're more likely to get a superficial skin cancer on the left
Left
side than the right. In Australia, it's
Interesting.
the opposite. They
Yeah,
are on the
red
opposite.
side. Yes. Do you have any more practical things?
One myth we
Myth,
do hear
yes.
a lot again is that my child can swim, so they're safe. But even the strongest swimmers run into trouble. You run into fatigue, cramps, distractions, or they even panic. So just having kids regularly practice their swimming is one of the things like we constantly push. Like, just because you take a swim lesson, that you should stop there. No, continue to practice, continue to practice. And again, to your point, a big myth is that drowning is loud, it's dramatic. It's not. It's usually silent. So.
Well, thank you both for coming. You have given us some good reminders and good things to think about as we're having fun in the sun during this summertime. Erin and Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your passion. It's been such a wonderful and encouraging conversation. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Sister Chat. Whether you're layering on sunscreen or watching the kids at the pool, your awareness matters. Let's make this summer one filled with laughter, safety for all. See you next time on Sister Chat. And always remember to take care of yourself this summer and each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.